Alright, so we're going to work on evaluating some functions here. They told us let f of x equal x squared plus 1 and g of x is equal to x plus 3. Find the indicated values. So a and b are pretty straightforward. It says find f of 2. So we've done this in previous videos. F of 2 just means plug 2 in for all of your x's and plug 2 into the f function. So our f function is x squared plus 1. So we're going to replace the x with a 2 and say 2 squared plus 1. And 2 squared plus 1 is 4 plus 1, which is 5. So f of 2 is equal to 5. Alright, g of negative 1 tells us to go to our g function and plug a negative 1 in for the x. So negative 1 plus 3, I'm just following our function up here, and negative 1 plus 3 is 2, so g of negative 1 is equal to 2. Alright, that's pretty straightforward. Now let's make sure that these next ones make sense. I can see that this says, well, here's what it looks like. Let me tell you how to say it. We say f of g of 1. So we have to figure out what f of g of 1 is. So you can see that g of 1 is on the inside. So we're going to figure out what f of g of 1 is. So that means start with the number 1 and we're going to plug it into the g function. So our g function is x plus 3. So I'm going to plug in a 1 for the x plus 3. So this right here, this 1 plus 3, that's your g function from up there. So 1 plus 3 is 4, and now we have to figure out what f of 4 is. So you take the 4 and you plug it into the f function. And your f function is x squared plus 1. So we're going to do 4 squared plus 1. 4 squared is 16, plus 1 is 17. How did that go? Hopefully not too bad. Alright, so our next one we have g of f of 1. So we start out we have to figure out what f of 1 is. So that means plug a 1 into the f function. So that's going to be 1 squared plus 1. Well, 1 squared plus 1, 1 squared is 1, plus 1 is 2, so really we're figuring out what g of 2 is. And now we take the 2 and we plug it into the g function. So g of 2 is equal to 2 plus 3, because remember that function was x plus 3, and we get 5. Alright, so we're just practicing. These are called composite functions. It's basically you're putting one function into another function. Oops. Alright, so the next one, f of g of 0. So 0 gets plugged into g. So we're going to say f of, now we look at g as x plus 3, so we're going to say 0 plus 3. Remember that in there is your g function. Well, 0 plus 3 is 3, so we have f of 3. Now we take the 3 and plug it into the f function. That's going to give us 3 squared plus 1. 3 squared is 9, and 9 plus 1 is 10. Alright, next one we have g of f of negative 2. So take that negative 2, plug it into the f function. So g of, we have negative 2 squared plus 1. Negative 2 squared is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5, so we have g of 5. Now we take the 5 and plug it into the g function. Our g function is x plus 3, so we're going to do 5 plus 3, and we get 8. Alright, so this last one looks a little confusing, but let's just talk through it and make sure we understand. F of 1 over g of 3. So we're going to do f of 1 over g of 3, so we're going to take the 3 and plug it into the g function. Remember the g function is x plus 3, so we have 3 plus 3. Alright, so 3 plus 3 is 6, so we have f of 1 over 6. Then we take 1 over 6 and we plug it into the f function. So remember, our f function is x squared, so 1 over 6 squared plus 1. Well, 1 over 6 squared is 1/6 times 1/6, which is 1 over 36 plus 1. And then 1 over 36 plus 1 is going to give you 37 over 36.